Well, hello, and welcome to this installment of Tony's review of the season so far. We are in 2019. This is March, and we're about to go into the very first Ukiah Fanwar, and also the upcoming weekend after a long time of rain. In fact, it's still raining today, but it's planning to be sunny soon. So I want to give everybody an update because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people coming back after the long rainy season we had this year. And I want you to bring you up to speed on what's happening in the game world. So, long story short, if you haven't been back since the end of the season last time, Belladonna is no more. Long story short. So, big, huge battle happened down here in Taikoban, and Queen of the Vampires, no longer the Queen of the Vampires. I'm not going to go too much into her fate. She's not dead, but she's no longer a vampire. She's now far off in Roacron somewhere. So, that's all you need to know on that. Other things you need to know. So, over here, this is a new city-state, or not city-state, but a new state, nation called Sargaria, run by Sarigs, and they are techno-mages. As you may remember, over here we have a steampunk samurai-type culture, very xenophobic, but they have developed using dark steel. They've developed also a technology based on steam power, based on the fact that there is no magic past this line. So we do use in our game, we do use some adapted Nerf guns for steampunk purposes. And steam guns in this part of the world do what we call effective damage, and they do effective hack or effective impale. It's not something you can resist because there's a giant hole in your arm, so you can't like resist that from a high-speed projectile. Any case, so moving on. So we have over here in Sargaria these techno mages who are adapting magic and mixing it with the steam technology that's going on there. We got lots of zeppelins and airships happening. And over here in the Hivelands, oh, by the way, Sarigs are big, scaly lizard people. And they used to be a desert folk, but because the Grand Magus for a very long time in the game world was a Sarig, he brought the teachings of Elder Sorcery and magic back to his people in Sargaria, and they're one of the most cultured people in all of Teriock at this time. So that's something to know about Sargaria. The Hivelands is a new state as well. These are the Fraints. These, if you can imagine, giant mantises, 6 foot tall mantises, but with only 4 appendage, 2 arms and 2 legs. That's what Fraints are. And there's a whole nation here of Fraints that follow their queen. And there's been a lot of tension between Shaloba and Gritton as the soldiers of the Hivelands are pushing back and taking on more territory. There's a lot of tension there between farmers and whatnot who are in this area and the Fraints who are kind of moving into old territory of Shaloba. Getting back to more of the plot. So the Belladonna was gone during the last season. There was kind of like 2 major vampire groups. There was the group of Nosferachni. These are Spiga, basically demon spider / vampires. So very terrifying creatures. And there was an alliance, so to speak, with Belladonna at the last season. and there was a parting of ways. And Salty ended up taking Perless. That was the head of the Nosferachni. Her name is Salty. And she and her brood took Perless, while Belladonna had taken, since the beginning of the season, taken Tycho Bon. So at the end of the season, Belladonna was defeated. Tycho Bon was restored to the Coban people, the monk folk that lived down there. But Salty, when they went to stop her at the end of the last season, she wasn't there, and they couldn't figure out where she was at the end of the season until the time jump. They found out at the very end of the season there was a giant tidal wave, and we're not sure exactly. There are rumors that a giant fissure was opened up along a earthquake fault line under the water, and creating a massive tidal wave that swept the entire shoreline of the inner sea. Every major city, the vast majority of the people who lived there at sea level were washed into the sea. We don't know much, or it's not known amongst the players yet, what happened to all those people, but it is widely believed that they are kept under the water in Salty's domain. We do know that Salty still exists and is still around because she left a curse on the entire inner sea. A curse which requires a blood or coin price, like a tax, to sail on the inner sea, even to cross it in the air. If you do not they say if you do not pay the blood price, if you either cut your hand and put drops of blood into the sea at the beginning of the day, and in which case it drains you 1 mana for the day, you can do that, or you can put in the amount of gold that is your level into the ocean, and that suffices for the tax, the price to move across the inner sea. Those that do not pay the price do not often get to their destination, or their cargo doesn't get to its destination. So the vast majority of people who sail on the inner sea do pay the tax. At Perless, that was one of the hardest hit for the tsunami, and most of its people actually were led by Salty into the sea. There were witnesses that witnessed that. It is believed that she has a dark city, a vampire dark city, underwater. It's not confirmed, but that's all that people can figure out. We'll see. Maybe you'll find out.